Hi, Aida.
Hello.
Hi. You're so energetic this morning.
I was looking forward this day. So.
Oh, really? Oh, that's great. Yeah. So
no, I'm really excited with the conference, and it's really a pity that I could not see everything because it's
yeah, because the time difference, right?
I tried. Yesterday I was seeing the first one for you, and I fall asleep.
Yeah, with the time difference, I was thinking perhaps it's because we try to run it like usual, that is like 2 days, and we feel also super tired because actually it's like session to session, but in reality we have to be able to keep our eyes on the computer all day long, and then we feel like super tired compared to the offline conference. Yeah, we are thinking perhaps later on should be like 3 days or 4 days, but only like 4 hours per day, so we can have a relaxing time a bit.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just like the lectures that we are giving online. Maybe the attention is different, or either we are not used to it, either it's really different. But I feel more tired after my lectures online than presential lectures.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
imagine like
here,
the conference, like for you that are organized, and that you have to be there like from 8 o'clock, before 8 o'clock in the morning until late.
yes. And sometimes
I'm tired.
we have a WhatsApp. Oh, the keynote is already in the room. Oh, okay. We are like super stressed running. We are at home, but we have to like, oh yes, here and there. And sometimes I said, oh, I hear music. Where is the music coming from? And they're, no, we didn't hear any music. And then, oh yes, my main stage is still on and with music.
Yeah.
Funny.
But everything went well, right?
Yes and no. Yes, in a sense that it goes smoothly, but we expect more people coming. Yeah, but you are right. With the tension of online, they also have limitation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
Wait
many
a
people
moment.
at the end you had? Because you were expecting 300, I
Normally
guess.
we have like 50 to 60 on the room, and then we also have on YouTube around 24, 25 normally. That's what we have. Yeah, we
500
expect
people.
like 120 or even 200,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's different.
I
But
I
it's
guess many people we will also watch it later on. Like
yeah,
I want to
yeah, but
watch it later
mhm.
on, for example.
Yeah, but yeah, the viewers from YouTube, it's already we already reached like 300, and also for the first session goes like 520. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but wait, I also run myself on the next computer. Okay, we'll see. We already have. Oh, have you got your coffee?
I had coffee. I have water now, but I had some
Oh, you
coffee
have water right away.
because I was waking up these days at 5 o'clock in the morning to follow a little bit. I'm
Oh,
tired.
yeah, I saw you since like, oh, isn't this so early for you?
Yes, but I want to follow the most I could.
Yeah. Hmm. We have, hi everyone. Hope you for people in Indonesia, hope you can keep awake until 9 o'clock. For those who, let me check. Do we have, oh, we also have someone who is, oh, your students also here. Good morning.
Yeah.
And we also have people from Singapore. It's a bit late, an hour late than us. Hello.
Let me ask, what is this PA and PR in front of the name of the people?
Oh, you should ask my team. Actually, I don't know. uh, to be honest, I don't know. Uh, who is on the stage, main stage, or Anissa, could you explain what is PA and PR for Zuhdi? I think it's related to people who will have a presentation, I think.
Um,
Yeah,
okay.
I guess, yeah. Hmm.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you for your answer.
yes, wait a moment. Oh, we are. To all of you, have you seen our game room? Tonight we will announce the winner from the game room. We also have a tour at our campus and also a video if you are lazy to walk along the campus for a virtual walk. You also can see the video. Please don't forget to turn on the music, because with the music you can feel the vibrant of ITB, the oldest campus in Indonesia. And yes, how many participants we already have at our YouTube? Mm,
You know, after this conference, I was people were presenting things around like Badung and Jakarta, and I was going through Google Maps to look at it, and I really want to go there. I really want to
yes.
visit it.
Aida, listen, we will have in 2020 we will have the Arte-Polis 9. Perhaps we can collaborate together.
Yeah.
So you can fly here. Yeah. Yeah.
I would love to.
Yeah. And
so my next international travel, I will plan to be Indonesia. Okay.
Yay. And we also, I also, after this conference, I feel more motivated to organize things or make a research, more research for my city, or for myself, which is normally I feel like, oh, I don't have energy because it's like too much and with a small impact. But to see you guys, it's like, what? 15 years to do such a small thing? And persistence. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. Here are crazy people. I invite crazy people who has a lot of energy.
Well, I like it. I like crazy people.
Oh, I think it's time. Oh, yes, it's time for us now. Sorry, we talk too much. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all. Today, this time we will have our last keynote speakers, Professor Aida Pontes. And Professor Pontes is a professor at the University Unifakisa at Gran Campina as an architect and urban planner. And then she has a master degree in urban engineering and a PhD in urban planning from TU Eindhoven in the Netherlands. And then with her huge energy, she settled in Campina, Gran Campina Lab Rua. The meaning is a street lab, who is a place for collaborative research on public spaces. Besides, she has worked at the Planning Secretariat and the Urban Mobility Superintendence of the Municipality of João Pessoa in different administration. Recently, she has just been elected as the president of Instituto de Arquitetos do Brasil Departamento de Paraíba. It's an Institute of Architects of Brazil at Paraíba State. So, Professor Pontes, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vidi, for this invitation. I'm really happy to be here. And I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Yeah. Are you seeing it?
Yes.
How can I do this? Okay. So good morning for me, good evening for those that are in Indonesia. Now it's 9 o'clock in the morning here in Brazil. And I'm really happy to be here in this conference. We were talking a little bit earlier how I could not follow all the presentations because of the time difference. But I was really happy, the few I saw of the presentation is really interesting to see people from so many different places in the world seeking the main and unique goal of building a better future for our cities. And I want to join all the conversations today with the experience I'm having in Brazil. And again, I'm really happy to be here, and I would like to thank again Vidi for the invitation, and also to congratulate all the organizers for this online conference, which been really well organized and really great. So I am in a mid-sized city in Brazil, and this is South America, in the state of Paraíba. Vidi read really well, had a really good pronunciation in Portuguese.
Oh, thank you.
And I am from João Pessoa. João Pessoa, which is the capital. And João Pessoa has 800,000 inhabitants. And when I came back from my PhD in the Netherlands, I was really anxious to come to Campina Grande. I came here because of my ex-partner, and he had a work here, and I was like all my life against living in Campina Grande, because in my point of view was a small city with a very conservative point of view, and would be really hard to find a good job for me, and to as Vivi said, I have a lot of energy, and it would be hard to be with people that would have that energy that I have. But I came here for personal objectives, personal goals. And Campina Grande has 400,000 inhabitants. It's considered a mid-sized city in Brazil for our scale. And I want to show you some pictures of Campina. This is the postal card of the city. It's where I go running 3 times a week. It's very close to my home. I live in a very nice place, which is in the city center. It's very easy to walk around. I also like very much the city center, which is an Art Deco area that's protected as a historical area. But we already see some change in the landscape with the amount of cars we are seeing. Although it's a historical area protected, we see how the amount of cars we have in the street comparing to the amount of sidewalks and the width of the sidewalks. And this street and this area was the first trigger for me to start with the Lab Rio that I'll talk later. But Campina Grande is also this image. This is one suburban neighborhood which called Pedregal. We are doing some research over there. And this is very much Brazil. Brazil is this country of inequalities, of places where you have very rich people and places where you don't have any infrastructure. You can see there's no sewage. Oh, yes.
Sorry, excuse me. There is a RGB color on your button on your screen, and it's blocking some of your presentation.
This
on the right, no, on the right hand side. Is it from you? Yes, that one. Yes, please.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know it would be like on the full screen when I presented. So as I came back, like this one is also very much Brazil. So we have this disparity on the, not only on income, but on urban infrastructure and on access to the city, on the right to the city. And it's really hard to even to deal with it in the daily basis. But this is where I am. And I was very anxious to come here because we have here in Campina Grande a very conservative culture and politics. So we have these the same group of rich families that are on the politician parties for decades or since ever. And it's we make a joke saying that's almost a monarchy because we have the same people on the power for a long time. We also have a population that are not engaged. They are not organized around a common good. They're just accepting anything that comes from the government. We also have this an inexistent public participation in decision about public spaces. So people are not considered. The public the governors don't ask people what they want, what they need. And as we have this disparity, usually richer people are on the at the public sector, and they don't leave the problems of the poor areas. So it only make this inequality stronger. We also have a failure to comply with the urban legislation. Brazil is known for having very good urban legislation, but they are not respected by the governors. So what's the point of having laws that it's not respected? And another thing that was quite surprising for me when I came here is the professors at both universities here. We have a big private university, the one I'm in, teaching, and a public university. And both of them, they were not engaging students in the thought of the urban areas. In Brazil, architecture and urbanism, they are together. It's one course together. And we still have a culture of architecture being more important than the urbanism. So we still see professors having a bigger point of view in the building instead of the building of the city, instead of the urbanism. But although all this scenario, Campina Grande is a city with a great potential. It's a size which is very easy to deal with. It's a city that's not that small. Then we do have culture, we have nice restaurants, we have nice retail areas, and we don't have the problems of bigger cities like São Paulo, even João Pessoa, with traffic jam and all the problems that big cities have. So when I came here, I became professor at Unifacisa University, and I also created the Lab Rua, and was really at that point, I was not thinking about what I was going to achieve. I was just trying to put my energy somewhere, I believe, because as I said before, here in Campina, there was no discussion about how we were building our cities. I really like to show these pictures of the beginning of the Lab Rua. And Vidi just asked me a question that if Lab Rua is related to university, and it's not. Actually, the university I'm in has a very limited funding for research. So I decided to do my research lab by myself with some students. And I like to show this beginning to show that we don't need material resource to start. I borrowed a place in the backyard of some friends that are architects, and we just started like cleaning what we had over there. We just put electricity and lights in this area, and we start analyzing the area. The first area we started was the city center. So since then, we did lots of researchers. I don't know how many people passed in the lab, but we always have more than 20 people working here. But I think more than 40 students passed through the Lab Rua and worked with us. And what are the behavioral aspects that had some impact on Campina Grande? Because I'm going to show you some of the stuff we did here, some of the intervention, the placemaking, the parties, and how we are using public spaces, which some of them seems quite simple. But if we consider the environment and the context I'm in Campina Grande, with the political point of view, with the cultural point of view, it's really a battle to be in the public space in Campina Grande. So what I was doing that is different, I would say. First, I was leaving the city. As I said, the professors from the other universities, both universities, they were saying, we need to leave the city, we need to cycle, we need to walk, we need to use our public spaces. But the students were, what? This doesn't work here. And when I came to the university and I arrived by bicycle in the university, the students were, wow, if she's doing that, maybe it's possible. Because as I showed you in the picture, Brazil is a very, very car-oriented, we have only car-oriented cities. The sidewalks are almost inexistent, and we don't have a bike path or any infrastructure for bicycles, very few. I also was bringing people together. So as I could see also in the presentations, independently of the culture, of the religion, of the political point of view, every city has people wanting to discuss and think about the future of the city. So we just need to find these people and bring these people together and find out what they're going to do and want to do. I also came teaching different methodologies to my students, and we were also applying and creating different methodologies that were adapted from international literature, but to our reality. And maybe the main important aspect was always having coffee and hugs available. Coffee is very strong in coffee, and beer is very strong in Brazilian culture. And I have this space here that's always open, not now because we are in isolation, but usually it's very open for people to come, to discuss, to anyway, to think about what we are going to do, and putting people together around a coffee is always really good. So I'm going to show you. Yes, I know Ludwig likes it. I'm going to show you some interventions, not only related to Lab Rua, but also related to my life here in Campina. And this first one, I think you may understand bar and bike. So when I came here, I was already cycling, and it's not common in Brazilian culture for especially women to cycle. And we decided with other people that wanted to cycle, what could we do, but not to look like a critical mass, like a battle, what we could do to bring people to cycle more. And then we decided to do actually like a promenade. Whoops.
Yeah, good. Yeah, oh no. No, it's black now.
It's a video. Let me see if like that. It's a video. It's not working. Yes,
it's a video. Okay. I think the quality sometimes is not good with the Zoom, but we'll try.
It's a pity.
If you have in YouTube, then it's better to turn it. I don't know.
Just a second.
Yes.
Yes. Here. If I play, do you see? Yeah.
No, we don't see it.
No.
No. We couldn't, normally we couldn't see uh, the, the movie on the Zoom. Perhaps you can share us the link if it's possible.
Yeah, I'll show you the link, but it's a
yeah, then we can see it by our own ourselves. Yeah.
Wait, how can I come back to Zoom? Zoom, what is Zoom? What is Zoom?
Don't know. Stop the share. Perhaps you can stop your screens.
Are you seeing my screen now?
And not yet. Yes, now we come back to your screen.
Okay, I will give you later on the video. It's a pity because I didn't put pictures because I was expecting you to see the video. But what we did, we decided to go by bike from bar to bar, which is a very strong culture in Campinas, to go to the bars that are open to the street, or even the tables are on the street. And when we started with 6 people, some of these promenades, some of these cycle events we have 60 people. And we also have a speaker. It's not only like cycling, we have a speaker and we go like listen to music and stop in bars and having beer. And lots of people that went to this event afterwards, they bought bicycle and they started cycling to the university to work. And this video, I will send you the link afterwards, was during this day, that during the day, we invited this professor and we were talking about different methodologies of public interventions, of tactical urbanism. And we end up putting some interventions on the streets and using art and using lots of different technologies and different aspects of the space. And I want to show you a little bit more about the context I'm in. If you see this word over there, it means slow down in Portuguese. It's devagar. And we painted devagar instead with an E with an I, which means something else. So we made a joke with the word that looks like slow down. So cars would slow down, but it also means like to just go around and see the city and leave the city. And so someone would look at it, would think it's wrong. It's Portuguese, the written wrong. And then I want to show you what happened, because I was in a WhatsApp group from the people from the town hall, the people that were dealing with the streets. And they started sharing, look at this, who did that? It's wrong. The color is wrong. It should be white and not yellow, and the size is wrong. They didn't understand that it was an art. They just started asking who did that and who was the responsible, and we should find the responsible for that. And as you can see, they sent someone to erase it. And it is a painting that in the first rain, it would go away. And as you can see in the last picture, they removed me. And someone said, I just found the responsible for that. Come here to my room and I'll show you. And then they removed me from the group, because it was really something really impactful for them. And it's just a painting that would go away in the first rain. But to show you how is the point of view from people for placemaking, for being the city, for reclaiming the use of the city. And a little bit more about this behavior. This is, we do 2 big parties, now it's bigger. This is the beginning in the Lab Rua. We do a end of year party around Christmas for celebrating the end of the year. And we do a party in June, which is our traditional São João party. It's very traditional here in the countryside of the Brazilian northeast. And this is the first Christmas party we did when we moved to this house where I am right now. And I just said, well, if you're talking about using the street, let's go to the street. I just took my table from the backyard, put on a parking lot. There's a place for 2 cars. We just put some tables. And the security in Brazil is also something very important. We don't have safe public spaces. People are always afraid of being on the streets, of being kidnapped, of being robbed. And I don't believe it's that dangerous, but lots of people don't go to the street because of that. And many people say that I was crazy to do this because someone would ask money or would ask food or would do something with us. But we did plan for food. We made more food than it was needed. So thinking that people would ask us for food, but nobody bothered us. Nobody asked us for food or anything. It was really relaxed. And it was really shocking for us because even the people from the lab were thinking that would be different. And at the end was really quiet and really okay to do our party on the streets. After that, we grew. This is the mid of the year party we have. That's in June. And this is 2018. And then we grew a little bit more in 2019. And I have some videos also, but it's not going to work, which is a pity. But what we do during this party, because not only this party, it's about typical food, it's about a typical dancing, it's about a typical decoration and dressing. It's very, very strong in our culture. And we did all these things that we are doing inside our houses on the street. So the video I have is showing us going around the tables and going also on the area for the cars, and the cars are complaining all the time, but we are really happy to be on the street and reclaiming the space that's not thought for us. So these are the videos that's unfortunately not working, but shows everybody dancing. And this is this year what we did. We still did our party with the typical music, with the typical dressing and decoration, but we did through. So here's also another video. I'm really sad because I didn't know that Zoom didn't work for video. And it's the lab on the street. It's also reclaiming the quality of public spaces. What happens in Brazil usually, we have these richer areas, which in Campina Grande is in the city center, where you do have public spaces. Some of them have quality, are well maintained, but many of them are abandoned. There's no maintenance, there's no place to sit. And if you go to the suburbia, it's even worse because you don't have a public space at all. So we started doing parties, again, very strong in Brazilian culture. We started doing parties on these squares that are not well maintained, that are abandoned by the public government. So we do workshop, we do crochet workshop, dancing workshop, several types of workshop. We invite artists and people to be on the square for a whole day, and we end with a cinema, with a movie on the square. And also, again, this idea of if you have people on the streets, as Jane Jacobs says, it's safer and people feel safe. So these are some pictures. And with this one, we also started not only occupying the space, but also asking people about their opinion about the space. We started to go to the house of people and inviting them to come to the square during the day, to participate with us, asking them what they needed. And after these events we did, we started gathering the attention of the public government. I will show you later that they started inviting us to do other stuff on the street. It was really important that they start seeing the importance of discussing the city, of being the city, of having equality on our public spaces. This is another one that we did that's really interesting. Is an old cinema in the city that's abandoned for decades now, I think. And the government came with the idea of a project to build something that was really weird, what they decided to do in the cinema. So they didn't ask the population, what do we want for this cinema? And we spent a whole day in the area of the cinema asking people for ideas. What do you want for the cinema? And it was really funny because we were exchanging fruits and a roasted chicken for ideas. So people felt more inclined to help us because we were giving fruits, coffee also, and at the end we had roasted chicken to someone. So we got some ideas that we never thought before. Could be cinema. People think that could be cinema, could be a cultural center, could be a swimming pool, could be a church, could be so many things that the people would like to see in this area. Then here is also some difference I've made teaching in the university. This is the final project of two students. They are twins, and they did a parklet for their final project, which was not common at all. Usually it's only project and very often not urban project in the final projects from my students. And they did all the process. They did the project, they implemented the project, and they analyzed before and during the intervention how the space was. So this is one of one is by the lake, that lake I showed in the beginning. And they also chose different places that are very different to see what were the difference if we would implement parklet in different environments in the city. So this is the one by the lake. Oh, this video here worked. And what's interesting in this project is that everything they are using here, they didn't buy it. Everything is borrowed. They took the grass from a shop. They took the plants for a shop for one day. This wooden stuff, it's given away. You get it for free. And also you can see these beach chairs and pillows. This is mine. I borrowed them. So they just did this project that they didn't spend any money for that. And they analyzed and asked people what they thought about it, and the amount of people that, the increase of people that were using the area, including different types of people like women, children, was amazing, and people really liked it. This is the other one in the commercial area, from the other girl, and it's the same material we used. I don't think the video will work. And to show you also some of the analysis they did before. So they did a lot of maps analyzing how people are using the areas. We also did a lot of counting how many people, bicycle, cars, and motorcycles were passing on the street during the day, to show to decide the place where we were going to insert the parklet, and also to see the difference during the intervention. Some maps to show the analysis before and during the intervention, and also the results from this one. It's very the same methodology applied in different areas, and although there are different areas, the difference were very slow difference between the two areas in the city. People were liking it and using it. And the difference that the place that were more related to leisure, like the lake, by the lake, the park, people stayed more than the place that in the city center where people are going for shopping. After this, the government invited us to insert one in that main street I showed in the beginning, the Marcel Pinheiro Street, which is the main street of the city. And we did a project in this street that we counted for a whole day how many people, cars, and etc. were passing through this street. And we do have 18,000 pedestrians during a day and 5,000 cars. But even if we have this scenario, you can see how many space for cars there is in this street. And this is a street that during the 80s was only for pedestrians, but they opened to cars, like going on the other way of what should be a good public spaces. And we end up this day was also very interesting, inviting a city councilor to talk about the problems of these streets, because it's an area that has great infrastructure, but during the night it's very unsafe because there's no residential, people don't live in this area, there's only commerce in this area. So it was really nice to end up with the city councilor talking with us. Also, the guy that's on the other side of me, by my side, he's from the city hall. So it was very interesting to bring all these actors together and discuss the city. Other town hall that invited us was Recife, which is a 2 million city close by. We also did the same methodology. We went there before. We did some analysis on how people were using the space. We did some proposals on how the space could be. This is also some interviews we did to ask people if they feel safe or not, or how they feel about having space for cars, for parking, or for people. And we did during one day this painting, which is looks like that, which is very simple, the painting, but the most the nice thing of this day was the process, because people were passing and asking us and helping us during the day. There was an event going on in the city center. And if you feel, I didn't put a picture before, but usually this street is cars parked on both sides and cars passing in the middle. And although after this event, they didn't stay, the street didn't stay like that, they started doing smaller interventions, just like this one, in the areas around. So it changed a little bit the way the city hall is doing with the streets especially in this area, which is the city center of Recife. And now talking a little bit about what happened this year with the COVID-19. Not only on the Lab Rua, but also in the Architects Institute, it was easier for people nationally to be together and starting to work together in collaboration. And one thing that the Lab Rua helped to create is the Brazilian network of collaborative urbanism. We proposed to do a national research about how people are dealing with the city during this isolation. It's important to let you know that in Brazil, we don't have a clear politics about the COVID-19. There are lots of people that are not respecting distance because we are since March. We should be isolated since March, but I think it's impossible to be fully isolated for 6 months. As we don't have a clear politic, we never had like a proper isolation. And then we have this weird that some people are isolated and others are not. And we don't have the curve going down. We still have this plateau of 1,000 people dying per day in Brazil. So we did this research asking people how was the relationship with the city, and we had around 3,000 respondents. And just to tell you one of the results we have, before the pandemic, from our respondents, we had almost 30% of people using public transportation, and during the pandemic, it dropped to 1% of people using public transportation. So it shows us a lot of problems due to the sustainability of the public transportation, the insecurity of using public transportation with the COVID-19, and also the fact that some people are going to use cars instead of cycling more or going more by foot. Another thing that we are doing, and this is also very important because the public sector, they don't have enough technicians in their working with them to deal with the public space in a proper way that's needed for this COVID-19 era, I would say. So we are doing some simulations on public space to show the government how they could deal with the public policies to reuse the public spaces. So this is that neighborhood that's a vulnerable and poor neighborhood that I showed in the beginning. And we did some simulations on how the local market could be, how we could use voids to have public spaces, how we could deal with the bars and the distance among the tables, and also the bus stops that there are in the area. And this week, we are in collaboration with the Habitat for Humanity, and we are implementing sinks in poor communities also. And now we have 4 implemented, but the idea is to have 24 sinks implemented. This is some things that were implemented. And just to have some considerations, how can we be an active, have an active role in dealing and changing or trying to bring the discussion about the environment in the city, independent of the context we are, and how can we adapt to this environment, having in consideration the goal that we have to build more cities, Do we need to be attached to an institution, or as we as individuals we can change a little bit our environment? I don't think that I'm changing the world, but I think I put one stone to help to change at least the way people see the city in Campina Grande. And I would like to listen from you, and I would like to thank you. And I leave here also my email in case you want to get in touch, and also the website from the Lab Rua. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Pontes, for a really nice, inspiring, especially inspiring project that you've made so far. And I would like to know if there is or there are some questions from the audience. And we do have one from Doni Priambodo. Doni Priambodo, would you like to ask yourself the question to Professor Pontes? We will help you to unmute your mic. Please do. Is it possible? Hello? Don't. Co-host or host, could you help me to open?
Yes, it's.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Thank you. Yes. Please.
Hi. Just want to know. Thank you for your nice presentation, and it's very inspiring. With start with the urban intervention, and I would like to know whether your placemaking intervention on the street that you just shown to us has that been stimulate any attract an investor or any new active frontage of the building across along the street that you did the some what you call it, the outdoor activities outside. Has
Thank
there
you
been
for yeah.
Sorry, can you understand my question? Has there
Yes,
been
yes, I can
yeah.
understand. Thank you for your question. Actually, the interventions we did on the place we installed them, there was no further actions from the public government, but some coffee places, they saw it and they installed it afterwards in front of their shops. It's very close by, but then there was also a law that was done in the by the town hall to organize the parklets, for example. And after that, we have 2 parklets in Campina Grande that are made to be there and not to remove. And but it's very interesting. That remind me that the first parklet that was done to stay there, it was a very, people were complaining about it because they were saying they removed 2 parking places and they inserted the parklet, but people were complaining, saying that they were privatizing the area, and they didn't think that the cars were privatizing the area, but the public space, as was a shop that was doing that, was a coffee place that was doing that, they complained, and it was a big mess in the city, but it's still there. I think for 3 years already, it's still there. So.
Has there been any unorganized, because your intervention is somehow organized by a community, but is there any natural public use from the people after you did this intervention?
Well, it's still in a process, I would say, in Campina Grande. As I was saying, we need to go back to the public spaces. People are not using public spaces in general. People feel very unsafe to be on the public spaces. I can think about only 1 square in this area that I am, the city center, where people feel safe to go to. So even these parklets that were installed, maybe during a certain period of time during the day, people use it, but still we need to increase first the quality of public space to invite people to be there, and second to have more public spaces.
Okay. Thank you, Professor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any? Oh, there's also a question from Lida Aminian. Would you like to ask the question by yourself? My team will help to open your microphone. Please do.
Yes, thank you. Hi, Vidi.
Hi,
Aida.
Lida.
Thank you for your presentation. I enjoyed a lot. Actually, during my stay in TUE, I couldn't meet you in person because you were in Brazil in that time. I was doing my PhD, but later I realized that you defended your PhD. Congratulations. Yeah, I really enjoyed. My question is that, yeah, you have done a lot of interventions at the cities, at the neighborhood scale. So most of them were bottom-up approaches. Could you attract any kind of top-down approaches by, for instance, attracting municipalities and other people in charges to continue this way of design? And also the second part of my question is that how sustainable was those changes? For instance, if you think about the weather, the culture, the safety, all these kind of indicators, how sustainable and long-term you think these kind of interventions are?
Okay, thank you, Lida. Yes, we didn't meet in Eindhoven. My PhD process was longer than expected, but yes, I did defend it. Thank you for your questions. Well, one thing that I would like to answer you is that it's a very slow process in Brazil to have a huge impact. We have to be resistant and persistent. And what I'm seeing now as a big difference from all this work that we've been doing is that we have this year municipality elections. And I see the difference because people are coming to me, coming to the lab to ask about what they can propose to the city. So for me, it's something really good because it shows that they respect our work, and second, it somehow it touched them that we need to discuss the city and we need to improve the public space in the municipality. And about the sustainability, there are lots of criticism on the materials that we use for these interventions, that they are not sustainable, they don't have a very huge endurance, they go away. But for these ones I showed you, it didn't stay. We did just a one-day intervention, so it didn't stay there. But as I said, it was a good impact during the day. I think it was somehow changing how people see the place after these interventions. And there's another thing that I didn't do, that I didn't show you, that we are also trying here in lab, is some of the data. We have a lot of data. We collect so many data in the city that the government doesn't have it. But the population doesn't have access to it. They are not looking for our website or for our Instagram. And we try to do some interventions to show the people the data we have. For example, we are doing some art interventions in the city center, showing some results of our data. For example, for the data we collect about how many social housing we could insert in the city center, we did some arts on paper and we glue it in some walls, some blind walls, to show people to think about it. How are the public policies going on? So I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you very much. Actually, I think you went through all these kind of huge changes where one day small steps like these ones, and I hope you will be successful in other steps. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Lida.
Yeah, I'm also curious, how long did you take, for example, how long did you collect the data for example, with the students who create a new environment with the collecting things in besides the river?
That one,
Yes.
because, for example, they chose a certain period of time in different days of the week, and they did two things mainly. They counted how many people passed on the street in different transport modes, and they also observed the behavior of the pedestrian, if they were sitting, if they were passing, if they were women, children. And for those, the twins, they decided to do it very early in the morning, in the middle of the morning, like around 12. They chose a certain period of time that was half an hour during the week and also in the weekend. Then they could have a whole perspective of different times of the day and also different days of the week.
Okay.
But in the lab, we try to do in our research discounting and behavior, because for their final project, there were only the two of them, one helped the other. But in the lab, as we have more than 20 people, we try to do the whole day. We start very early in the morning. For example, the Central Market, we counted 80,000 people during one Saturday. And we started 3 o'clock in the morning and we ended at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And depending on the day, on the place we choose to analyze, to collect the data, we do it earlier or later. For example, in the commercial areas, we started at 6 o'clock in the morning and we end at 8 o'clock in the evening. So a bit before the shops are open and a bit after the shops are closed.
Okay. Yes. And how do you see the role of the city after the pandemic? I mean, do you think that the city should adapt during the post-pandemic, or what is your opinion about this?
I think that we should use the pandemic in a good way, like giving more space for pedestrians. And I did contact people I know in the town hall to let them know that we should do something, that we should leave more space for pedestrians or build some at least temporary bike path, bicycle lanes, as we see that in Europe they are doing it a lot. But I was not listened to this point. That's why we are also doing the simulation, drawing how it could be. I showed you one, but we have 4 groups finishing the simulations to show the public government that it's very easy and very simple and very cheap to do this adaptation of the public spaces for this COVID-19. And at least they know that there is a way to do it, but they are not changing now. It's a very complicated year in the municipality. As I said, it's elections this year. So they don't want to try anything. They, even if it could be for better, they are afraid of trying and going wrong and could be bad for the elections. And in Brazil, we have election every 2 years. Now it's for municipality, and then 2 years more is for president and the governors of the state. So every 2 years we are in this mode of elections, and government is afraid of changing and doing things, and we are stuck with this reality.
Yeah, it's not good. Politics is always not working together with us. And Ida, I have also a question. Do you think that here, at your place, do you have also a gap, social gap, and how you manage with that?
So I was talking about, for example, participation. I feel myself very privileged. I'm not in the vulnerable areas. I'm a medium class person, so I do have how to deal with the government and how to get some time from my life to discuss about the city. But actually, most of the Brazilian population is dealing to find food for the day. And this changes a lot how we deal with the main issues of the city. So people are struggling to have food for the rest of the day. People are struggling because they don't have roof. Especially with this pandemic, the disparities in Brazil are increased a lot. So those that are rich became richer and the poor became poorer. And it's really hard to deal with the situation because it's really hard to get the people that need the most for an intervention from the public governors to get some time from their life to come and fight for it because they're fighting for their survival. It's a really hard reality in this case. So in this sense, now we need to have the support of especially the academia, like I feel, and the NGOs like Labiru and the universities, that are people that have the idea and can work with the population, can work in vulnerable areas to try to bring a little bit their perspective. As I go to the vulnerable areas, I try to listen to them and I try to bring it to the government, although the government doesn't go there. They only go there when they need votes. Now is the time that they are all going there and promising lots of things, but they are not really changing their reality.
Okay. Is there any question from the audience? You can raise up your hands. If you want. No? Okay. Oh, there's also one question from Imelda Akmal. Perhaps we can help to open the microphone for Imelda Akmal.
Yes. Hi, Widi. Hi, how are
Hi.
you?
Good. And you? Tired with the
No,
conference?
actually, this is a very interesting and good event. I really enjoy it. And hi, hello, Professor Pontes. How are you?
Pontes.
Hello, Imelda. I'm fine. Thank you.
Yes. I like to ask question. Actually, I'm typing the question, the second question, but Widi asked me to ask directly. So, my first question: what you did for intervention in the city is very interesting. But as far as I know, Brazil is like, especially São Paulo, is it? It's like Jakarta or Bandung or Surabaya. The street is not 100% safe to do. So when you do intervention on the street, how did you deal with informal, with the people, like informal security on the street? That's the first question. And the second question is, do you believe that design can give solution for pandemic problem, especially on the street? Is it possible design can do something or can contribute something, so people can still do activity on the street like usual? And then the last one is next year, 2021, Brazil will have UIA conference that all architects around the world will come there together. And a group of Indonesian architects already prepared and plan to have an exhibition in close to the UIA venue. So the security and the situation is our concern. Thank you.
Thank you, Imelda. Very nice questions. So let's go. You mentioned São Paulo and also we will be in Rio, which are big cities, and Brazil. Although the bigger cities are known, most of Brazilian cities are small. And Campina has a very different environment than São Paulo. But security is an issue. But I'm that person that is cycling during the night alone, and I always say that it's not that dangerous as people say. But you do have to have some caution, like you don't go with expensive stuff around you. For example, Apple Watch. I'll never wear it like on the street in Brazil because I don't want to attract attention. It doesn't mean that I have my iPhone with me in my bag, but you need not to attract attention.
Sorry, it's gonna be in Rio, not São Paulo. Sorry, it's Rio.
Yeah, it's Rio. It's Rio. You mentioned São Paulo, but we have been in Rio, so in Rio, I've been to Rio several times, and you should not be concerned if you are in the touristical and rich areas. You just have to see where there are people, not going alone during the night alone, and isolated places or empty places. But if you are in a group, it's okay. That's what I always say. And also Jane Jacobs says that a lot, that you have the eyes of the street. And one thing that we showed in our interventions is that when we are together, when we have a group of people in the public space, it feels safe. It feels safe. So, of course, and you asked about the design also. Of course, urban design will not solve the problem, especially due to security, but I think it's one aspect that should be included to solve the problem. You cannot have a space that's secure for people. If you have, for example, here in Brazil, that we have condominiums with like 4-6 meters high walls. How can you, as a human being, you're not comfortable, you're not inviting people to be in the public space. So I think design is one of the aspects we should think, especially in the security aspect, talking about Brazilian cities. I hope I answered your question, but I think it's this thing. I don't know, it's because I'm used to how you should deal and with space. But if you are in a group, it's already okay. If you're in Rio, if you are in the touristic area, it's also okay. And avoid having, for example, expensive cameras on the street, like showing it up, and avoid going in places that don't have people or that are isolated or too dark. But I think it will be okay. And I'm really looking forward. I will be there, and I'm really looking forward to meet you all there. I will look for you and we will meet in person.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice. That's nice. Thank you.
Yeah, we can. I can help give you the Aida's contact, and I think we are almost approach our time, and there is one more question from here. I see. Could you ask yourself, please? Hello. Hello. Yeah. Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity, and thanks, Professor Pontes, for your presentation. I would like to ask in similar perspective with Miss Imelda, which highlight the similarities between Brazil and Indonesia, especially in the term of developing countries. I would like you to explain your design approach, or how you address the gap between rural and urban development. I think Brazil is also facing the same problem, where more people come to the cities and leave rural areas. I would like to hear your perspective on that issue. Thank you, Ms. Widi and Professor Pontes.
Okay.
Thank you for your question. It's one thing that I'm talking a lot about this issue of still increasing big cities, is that the smaller cities, they are decreasing. The population from smaller cities, especially younger people, they are coming to bigger cities to study, and they are not going back to their hometown because there are no opportunities to work over there. And this is very strong where I am, because as I am more in the countryside, I have students from several different cities, from different sizes. And I'm really excited when I see them going back to their cities, but it's really hard. One thing that we should, in my opinion, we should also see and talk about the smaller cities. If you don't think all the country in a systematic and a system, it's all together. If the smaller cities doesn't support, doesn't have a good economy and jobs and good education, they will migrate to bigger cities. And first of all, we should, in my opinion, we should look at these smaller cities that are in the rural areas, that they can stay there, and they can have opportunities there, and not only going look for opportunities in the bigger cities. And answering from my point of view, I think I'm making a small job, but still the students that I teach urban planning in the university. So all the students have to pass through my lectures. And I think this is very important because lots of students are from the countryside, and I think I try to make them think about it and they understand it in a global way. That you can not only see the bigger cities but also the smaller cities. It's also the environment I am in, that I am more in the countryside than the bigger cities. But I think the academia, the teaching, the lectures have an important role on that, because the students, they are multiplying our point of view, and they are drawing they will be the ones drawing and building the city. So I think as a lecturer, the academia has an important role in thinking about the sustainability of urban and rural areas.
Okay, thank you. We have a time constraint, but there is still one person who want to ask his question, Taufikur Rahman. And please ask sharp and direct. Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Widi, for this last opportunity. Thank you very much for the presentation, Professor Pontes. You mentioned about the public or traditional market during this pandemic era. I wonder if there is any case where the Brazilian local government, community, or NGO intervene the market to follow the physical distancing, or arranging the distance between the booth or the table of the sellers? Is there any case?
Yes,
Thank you.
it's the most, thank you for your question. It's the most complicated area to deal with this COVID-19, because even if you tell people to put a distance among their tables, they will put the table away, but then they will need to have to smoke a cigarette or to have so it's really hard. And the cases of COVID and death in the public market, it's really, the numbers are really high, because people really need to go there. There is more, they're not people that have money, they really need to sell to survive. So the amount of people that got infected in the public market is really high. They tried installing, the government, they tried to install sinks, there are people passing with alcohol. People are wearing masks, but very often you see them taking it out to drink or eat or even to talk. So there are some guidelines that they tried. They tried also closing it for a while, but didn't work. People are not respecting. And this is a very important question, especially in countries like Brazil and maybe Indonesia, that the laws and the rules are not really as respected as I would say in the Netherlands. And how we deal with it to really make people understand the importance of the social distance and the importance, because people just don't understand fully, I think, the real problem. So
Okay.
Same in
I
Indonesian
hope I answer your
cases.
question, but it's really hard. It's the most complicated area I'm seeing so far.
Same with in our country, the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Pontes and Pak Taufik. And
Yes,
before I
thank you.
forgot, I will tell you, Aida, you have a lot of fans on watching YouTube. You can say hi to them.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
it seems like you're the favorite professor there. And now, thank you again for your presentation. We would like to invite another some presenters, paper presenters. Yes, here we already have. Wait a moment. I would like to invite Diana. Oh, sorry. Diani Apsari
Hello.
who will present from quote to another word.
Yeah.
Imagine space through quote in a public space. Please do.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mbak Widi. and
Yes.
everyone. Okay, let's we just start it now.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Could you have the share?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Okay, good evening, everyone. And first of all, I'm so glad to be this part of this conference. And let me introduce myself. My name is Diani Apsari, and this paper I was written it by my author partner is Wibisono Tegar Gunaputra. And tonight we're going to present our result of our study entitled "From Quote to Another World: Imagine Spaces Through Quote in Public Space." And this study, written from a collaborative point of view, since it was based on my background from visual communication design and also my partners from anthropology field. This is our focus of research. Maybe some of you have strolling around the Asia-Africa street. This is a line of wall phrase displayed on the building not far from the Bandung city, alun-alun Bandung, surrounded with historical buildings. And this phrase says, "Bumi Pasundan diciptakan saat Tuhan sedang tersenyum," or the English translation is, "God created Bumi Pasundan when he was smiling." And it was written by Dutch scholar Martinus Antonius Wesselinus Brouwer. And this quote became a visual element in public space, especially alun-alun, that is being mentioned earlier. And despite it was built much later than other heritage buildings, but this public space with the environmental typography suddenly grown like magnets for travelers that I will explain it later. And the following is, which was our question at the beginning and related to the context of Bumi Pasundan or West Java in Brouwer's quote, is it refers to geographical and cultural unity that the official has given the naming for the province of West Java in the colonial era? And why is it just focusing on Bandung, which is a part of Bumi Pasundan itself? So this brings us to the research question: how far can the quote from the Brouwer represents the condition of Bandung today be relevant? And how and for whom is the imagery of Bandung as a part of Bumi Pasundan or West Java being reproduced? And the following are the steps for our research approach. This is we're using a multimodal ethnography approach and observation, both direct and indirect, based on the social activities in the research area. And the literature and archive studies are also obtained to obtain the historical data. And both the historical data collected through the literature study method and indirect observation will be used for the recontextualization from the object of the study, which is the wall phrase. And in this discussion part, we are trying to find the relationship of text as a visual elements between image and space that exists after what we seek to explain further, and begins with historical data and observation in the reality and virtual space that we found later. We finally find a gap between the reality and the idealization. And to understand the dynamics of the Bandung that has been depicted in various phrases or quotes, let us start from the original, where the original quotes that has been taken. It was taken from an article in Kompas. It is said that quotes was taken from the excerpt, "Sering dikatakan bahwa Jawa Barat terjadi waktu Tuhan senyum." And it is said that Bandung is indeed a city worth to be named the Queen of West Java. It is often said that West Java appears when the god is smiling. There is also apply not only to the region, but also the residents for whom are commonly called Sundanese people. So the people is very peaceful, and also the region is also very beautiful and peaceful. And so based on the Brouwer's quote, which has become a wall phrase, and Bandung become a representation from a Bumi Pasundan or West Java, and Bandung has depicted as an ideal city where Europeans colonial can feel the impression of being in their own land. And this also, this kind of perspective manifests to the concept of imagined geography by Edward Said, where the imaginary process in the context of power tends to reduce and reproduce existing realities. And this kind of perspective manifests through popular expressions or jargons. For example, we have so many examples here. Top maung, top badak. This is the first jargon that is found to explain about Bandung. It is, let me translate it. It is eaten by maung. Maung is a tiger, or eaten by rhino, which expresses Bandung as an inhuman settings. Paradise in Exile. It is stated by Dutch exiles from Batavia, and the development of Bandung as the capital city brings also the certain impressions among colonials at the time about Bandung being a beautiful city like Bandung, Paris van Java, the Garden of God, the Bloom der Indiscretion, and also the popular expression that we have familiar is gemah lipah wibawa mukti, and also berhiber. Bandung always expressed to heavenly parables and was seen as a beautiful and fertile and prosperous place. And the process of how the imagery of Bandung being reproduced also occurred in the visual style. It is called Moi Indi. This style comes from the Western painters as a true representation from colonized countries with the romanticized portrayal of nature, also a reduction to the reality in colonized countries.
Yeah, you still have 2 minutes.
Okay. This is the example of painting, literature, and photograph from Bumi Pasundan. And despite of the positive perspective from colonials, different views towards Bandung are found in several stories of local writers, which also forms an imagery of Bandung at that time. It is found in Sarif Amin novel, Di Lembur Kuring. It was mentioned that there was cholera and black plague that claimed lives, and it is happened in Bandung city. So is it true that Bumi Pasundan was born when God was smiling? And this is we can find from this Google Street View from surroundings about that the quotes being displayed. We can see the surroundings from the quote congested with activities of local residents. Also, this is being a most prominent and strategic lines in Bandung city, and is also related to the 2017 Community Perception Survey for Bandung city development. The city's deviance and entanglement becomes the main focus. So this is what policymakers reproduce through quotes that romanticize Bandung as a part of West Java through the eyes of colonial officials and European travelers. And this displayed quotes as a visual elements also reproduce through social media that would otherwise create another world as imaginary spaces that we can see in this in Instagram with hashtag Bumi Pasundan. We can find the 5,000 posts, more than 5,000 posts about the beautiful, charming, and Instagrammable city through the hashtag Bumi Pasundan. We can see so many people posting here, posting it on Instagram, and based on the observation of the hashtag, this is have a strong discourse of alun-alun and Asia Africa area, and it's dynamic as a part of the Bandung. And this also shows the relationship between the narrative about Bandung in the last colonial area with the space in the form of Bumi Pasundan hashtag, which imprint in the mind of visiting tourists. So we conclude that the Brouwer's quote in this public space have succeeded in creating new spaces about how Bandung being imagined. And this imagery of Bandung has the same interpretation as what was imagined through the eyes of colonials, European travelers, and royal families or local administrators in the colonial periods. But on the other hand, the city defense and urban disorganization phenomenon that occurs not far from the location of the quote being displayed become overlooked. And this condition shows how the quotes are, both the physical or virtual experience, it is able to perpetuate colonial myths and reduce reality about Bandung to this day. So that is the end of our presentation. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you and nice evening.
Okay, thank you, Diani Apsari. And now we go to second presenter, Ardina Susanti, who will talk about relationship mapping of brand sensuality factors and interior design characters of popular coffee shops in Z generation perceptions. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Widi. Can you hear my voice clearly?
Perfect.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ardina Susanti. I would like to present my research with my team from lecturers of Interior Design Department from Bali Design and Business Institute with title Relationship Mapping of Brand Sensuality Factors and Interior Design Characters of Popular Coffee Shop. Next. The background of this research is about sporadic growth of coffee shop in Denpasar, not only global chains coffee shop, but also local brand growth in Denpasar. So the coffee shop's owners must develop more than just product for their business, like service quality and also interior design qualities. So the research aims of these research are to review the brand sensuality of popular coffee shop with its characters of interior designs element. And we take the Generation C as our focus group because the Generation C will be an economic activity holder in the next 10 years. Next. In this research, we take some literature review related to interior design elements and also related to brand sensuality. First, we take from the Mahmoud research in 2017, mentioning 7 elements of interior design and architecture. One of them is identity elements that include the brand and branding. And next, the other literature is from Pekotik. They mention that interior design elements of restaurant that give the positive impact to consumer loyalty are ambient lighting, colors, music sound, tableware, space area, furniture comfort, and materials. And also from Asuhri, they mention elements of coffee shop interior that give the big impact of consumer loyalty is the furniture comforts. About loyalty, from Erman research in 2011, loyalty is depend on brand strength and existence. Based on consumer capitalism, when brand has create an identity and new lifestyle, and also economy of sign, and simul creation of the brand can add more value to brand aura. Next. In song research, also tell about sensuality value of coffee shop brands has a significant effect on consumer love for the brand, called brand love, and their loyalty also to consume the product from that brand as brand loyalty. And brand sensuality is a sensual experience that are built from a sensational experience of the 5 senses that consumers feel when using or consume the products from a certain brand. And next, from Rodriguez in 2014, also tell the brand sensuality is a brand ability to attract and engage the consumer emotionally by optimizing their senses when consuming the product. And there are 3 aspects that affect the value of brand sensuality. There are sensory cues, sensory consumer perception, and multi-sensory stimulation of the product and services. And also in Risa and Wijayanti research related to Rodriguez, about multi-sensory marketing and branding. They find the triangle sensory of marketing, where multi-sensory marketing impact the brand experience of customer and also impact their brand loyalty. And next, based on Fulton research about sensory branding model, tell that SBM consists of amalgamation of societal culture, service environment, and also brand itself, where the societal culture is individual or group preferences, it becomes symbols, and service environment is how environment provide those preferences as a symbol, and brand is an identity. Next. We point three hypotheses. First is there is an interior design impact to a coffee shop brand and consumer loyalty. And second, brand through multi-sensory marketing is introduced through the 5 sense stimulation in sight, smell, sound, touch, and taste, and it can increase to the brand sensuality. And the third, high brand sensuality value means that it presents a positive impact of perception of the brand, and it can increase positive brand experience, then it increase the consumer loyalty. About the Generation C, based on Toroxic et al., the C generation are people who born in 1995 and above, and Fulton have the research that related to Generation C that say that consumption of global brand is important for Generation X, Y, and Z in Australia, Brazil, China, and India. Next, about our research method, we use the quantitative stage and then continuing with qualitative stage. Quantitative methods, we collecting data from Generation C respondent in Denpasar by online questionnaire to know what are the significant factors of brand sensuality that make respondent love and loyal to consume that brand. The questionnaire include some question about brand love, what their favorite brand, and their brand sensuality in visual, olfactory, tactile, auditory, and taste way, and how they experience the brand. It's in time span that they spend in those coffee shop, more time spent, more positive experience, and their brand loyalty by their visit frequency. Next, in qualitative stage, we do observation at 3 popular coffee shops based on questionnaire and reviews the brand sensuality significant factor on that coffee shop and do the relationship mapping between interior design elements. And the results we have, next. Valid respondents, about 74 respondents from 100 respondents, and they mention 38 favorite coffee shop brands, and they answer the activities that they often do in coffee shop is socialize with friends, then doing their tasks, and enjoy favorite coffee and dessert. Next. To see the relationship between brand experience and brand loyalty, we use correspondence analysis by their answer about time spent at coffee shop and their visit frequency at the coffee shop. And we can see longer spend time of respondent at coffee shop, they tend to be loyal for that coffee shop brand. Next. To see the relationship between brand sensuality and brand experience, at first we do principal component analysis, and we found 2 categories of sensory stimulation in non-visual and visual stimulation. Then we found the significant non-visual factors with ANOVA, with average value more than 4 are comfortable sounds, interior temperature, tableware, coffee quality, furniture materials, and interior scents. And with same analysis method, next, With some analysis method, we found the significant visual factor that impact brand sensuality are interior colors, furniture shapes, and interior lighting. Then, when we look for brand sensuality relationship with brand loyalty, we also use ANOVA methods between brand sensuality value with respondent visit frequency. The significant value is more than 4 points in brand sensuality of categorized in 4 times more visited. Those significant factors of non-visuals are compatible sounds, comfortable sounds, furniture texture, interior scent, interior temperature, coffee quality, tableware, and furniture materials. And then the significant factors of visual stimulation are interior colors, furniture shapes, interior and interior lighting. Next, the results of qualitative stage starts by selecting 3 most mentioned brand by responding answer. Those are Starbucks Cafe, Nilo Cafe, and Janji Jiwa. We cannot do some observation in Samsara Cafe because during the COVID-19, Samsara Cafe is shutting down their business.
Your time is finished.
Okay.
Your time is finished. Can you make it shorter?
Okay, yeah. Maybe we go to some discussion, maybe?
Yes, it's interesting though, but yeah.
Okay. Maybe we can go to discussion. Okay, discussion, we have 3 points to discuss. First, about brand in consumer capitalism. We see that Starbucks Cafe is more mentioned by a respondent, where our respondent is mostly are university students. Also, they not independent yet in financial side, but products in Starbucks is quite high price for them, but that is not be an obstacle for them to afford. And it works the consumer capitalism in economy of science, where the brand can create an identity where Generation C fulfill their ego or self-fulfillment to consume that brand for their personal value. And about public space characters, we see in the coffee shop that we observe, they like the open plan space where almost all of the coffee shop interiors use transparent partition to divide smoking area and non-smoking area. And the most important thing is about relationship mapping between coffee shop interior design elements, brand sensuality, brand experience, and brand loyalty. We can see in the diagram. Brand sensuality in visual way can apply in interior design, in colors combination, warm color palette, and interior lighting, natural and warm white lighting. Furniture shapes in sofa seat preferred, avoid bend shapes. In audio way, comfortable sounds mean medium volume and tempo of music. And olfactory ways is the interior scents. Caramel and coffee aroma or scent can increase the positive brand experience and increase the loyalty of consumer. And about the tactile ways, about furniture materials and textures, soft and bouncy sofa texture can increase the positive brand experience and potential to increase consumer loyalty for those brand of coffee shop. And in this way, of course, the good quality of coffee. And we can conclude that.
Yeah. I think time is up. Sorry to stop you, but people can read your paper later on.
Yes,
I think it's very interesting. And then we will go to Dena Andromeda. We'll talk about sense of place as a tool in assessing data from digital images on Instagram with a case study Bandung on Instagram. Dena? Please, the floor is
Yes.
yours.
Hello. Can
Hi.
you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay. Hi. First, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Den Andromeda, and I am recently graduated student from Magister of Development Study in ITB. Today, I'm going to present you my thesis research about sense of place as a tool in assessing data from digital image on Instagram. As is covered quite a few times already in this conference, most of you must have already know about what Instagram is, how do they work. So I only have one more thing to emphasize, that Instagram is actually a self-idealizing place in a digital space that allows its user to act as both producer and the consumer without having to fulfill any kind of requirements, because everyone can have an Instagram account anywhere, anytime, and anything, thus creating a completely free and huge circulations of informations about places and designs. Now, these informations could serve as the basic of form knowledge of a particular place, and then have an important role in shaping a sense of place of people who see them. But what if the information they collected from Instagram form a wrong impression or a missing impression from a place? Just like these pictures that I blurred, that shows some teenagers taking pictures near an oncoming train, and then it leads to a very horrible scene with one of them being dragged along and injured pretty badly. But she's actually pretty lucky because she's still alive. And some people who do the same trends actually lost their life because they're led to believe that taking pictures in these dangerous places are not actually as dangerous, actually doing the same thing. But they are okay until someone made a mistake. And then there is these pictures of recreational places in Bandung, which then doesn't show a very strong impression of being in Bandung, unless then the background of the uneven terrain. I mean, these pictures could be taken everywhere, could be taken anywhere, because a lot of places, a lot of region in Indonesia actually following the same trends. So it does raise a question about what can we understand from these trends, and then how can sense of place play a role in this process, and how could it be helpful for us as an urban planners and an architect. To answer this question, first I have to tell you about the fundamental theory that I use in this research, that is time and space. So first is what is space and what is time. So according to in his book Space and Place, space is actually indicated by the ability to move. So the ability to move give us an understanding that there's a space, the existence of space around us. I mean, when we are moving our hand like this, we know that there's a space around us that allows us to move to a certain extent, and then we can say, I move my hand like this, and then that indicated the time. Also, then the second one is Lefebvre. He completed the process of space production to place with his triad. With the first one is spatial activity, which mean experiencing the place, and then representations of space, which mean the regulation, the rules, or the norms that are applied to the place. And then representational space, which mean perceiving the place, or having the knowledge of the space. And then the third theory came from Potts. It is a newer theory. In his book of the New Time and Space, he stated that time and space and is never a cycle, and it is actually a linear line that cannot be relieved. And then uh, from then on, we can continue to how space then created into a place. As I said before, space has to be experienced, it has to be learned. People has to form a knowledge and a understanding about the space.
and then people have the function. People has to understand what kind of rule are applied in the space for them to understand it as a certain place. So from this understanding of place, we can then understand what is sense of place. To be able to have sense of place, then people have to have the sense of time, and then they have to understand the functions, and then they are also have to build some kind of emotional bond, have to know about that place, and then somehow connect it to their other knowledge of the other places, and then this these methods are applied to this picture. In this picture, I actually tell you that the person who takes this picture actually have a strong sense of place, because we can see he pictured it clearly that this picture is taken in a very busy intersection. As we can see that there are a lot of there is a crowded pedestrian, and the road is very busy, and there's a commercial on the side of the photo, and also people are actually waiting in the zebra cross because they are very impatient to cross the road. And then this method is applied to the rest of the data analysis. To these pictures, nine Instagram account user that I use for this research, and then I grouped them into two category, with the first one being selfies category. In this selfies category, we can see that the pictures taken in this group is a form of a self-expression, and then the places where they take only became the background as something to enhance their pictures, not really because they wanted to show what they feel about the picture. So this scarcity of the informations actually showed a low sense of place in this Instagram users. This is also from the selfies category, and it shows the same thing with the scarcity of the information, and it is different from the landscape categories, where we can see that we can actually tell from just seeing where was this picture is taken, like the example from the bottom left. We can see that it is a picture taken on a mountain, on a mountain peak. I mean, we can see the sun rising, we can see people waiting for the sun to rise, and then we can see that there's no tall plants, because the peak never have tall plants. It is only grass, and then the sky is still. We can really tell that the people understand what it is the most that people search when they are climbing a mountain. This pattern show in the same okay this pattern show in the same landscape pictures, but maybe not all of them actually have a strong sense of this is the result. With they are assessed with these 7 variables, with then resulting in that the selfie category actually have a lower sense of place than the landscape category. So the conclusion is that by assessing people's sense of place from the pictures that they shared in their Instagram account, we can also conclude of what other people understand from these pictures, whether or not they form the right impression of a place or not, or so then us as an urban planners or architect can put them into our consideration when we're a decision. Also, in a discussion, Thuan's theory of space and place serve as the basic theory to call digital world a space, and also serve as theory in this research. So we're actually, when we are seeing a picture, what we are actually looking for is a movement, is a trace of a movement in those pictures. And then digital space. In digital space, people created places like Instagram, and then and then previously the qualitative data on Instagram is from visual data was taken through interview, but with this research, hopefully people can just see pictures and then understand what they are trying, what the photo takers trying to tell us. So in recommendation for the research with more sources, as well as tracing the reciprocal processes that occur in the space can be carried out to find out the detail what happens when a geographic space in development is claimed to change because of activities that occur on Instagram. So thank you for attention. That is all.
Thank you, Dana. Well, this is our last presentation from the paper presentation. And is there anyone who wants to ask questions? Yes, I know it's almost late night here. The day just started for Brazil, but for Indonesian, it's a bit late. Any questions? If it's not, I would like to ask first to the not I sorry, I should check the name. I would like to ask about the coffee shop. Do you also my question is what we can learn from Starbucks to create a better public place makings?
Okay, in Starbucks, we are based on the research. Starbucks is consistent, bring the visual stimulation and also the non-visual stimulation, and they make it excellent in both visual and non-visual stimulation, and they keep the quality of coffee, and then they keep the quality of temperature inside. They keep the good smell or good sense inside that, and they provide a single sofa. Single sofa is mainly preferred.
Wait a moment. No, my question is what you can learn from Starbucks if you want to implement the Starbucks ideas towards a better public. It's for public place making.
Oh, for public place making.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe we learned about how to make a warm place for everyone, where they very comfortable to do their hobbies, to do their tasks, and give some unique places and comfortable places, and considering the preferences of Generation C. In this research, I take the focus group of Generation C. Maybe that enough?
That's my questions. Is Imelda Akmal will ask questions here or no? Okay, then I also want to know about Dana and also to Diani. My question is, how do you also consider an art background of knowledge on the pictures that people took? Because normally, for example, an architect, they have a preferences to catch a moment that might be influence the data, your data. What is your opinion about this?
I'm sorry, so this is question for me only?
For Dana and Diani. So Dana, you can go first.
Okay. The artistic skills, putting artistic skill as a consideration. I actually talk about this with my co-author, and we talked that maybe an artistic preference could enter the data, but because actually one of my data is a professional photographer, but I carefully chose the pictures that doesn't show his preference in taking photography. It is actually grouped in the others category in the paper, but I didn't show it when I presented. So I think, in my opinion, and also a great consideration with my co-author, we did not actually put anything that have preference in for have artistic preference for the data for the research.
Okay, thank you. So you select, actually you already selected the data before you analyzed them.
Yes.
Okay, and Diani, did you do the same thing or not?
Can you please repeat the question? I quite don't get it about the art background. Okay.
Yeah, because normally architects, for example, architects has a different view on catching the photograph. So
okay,
it will be different. It will be different performances, or it will make your data different, I guess.
Okay, I kind of get your question. Actually, the data that we got, it is came from the almost the major data that we got. It is came from the literature data and the historical data that we got. So the
and about
image
Instagram,
on the Instagram, it is based
Yes.
on the hashtag that we looking for that has the same context with the quotes, which is Bumi Pasundan. So
Yeah.
we will just capture as it is what came
Okay.
on the data. You just
Okay,
capture
so
what it is. Yeah.
So my suggestion is, I think you can. It's a great initiative great idea to make a study about the quotes and also
Yeah.
related it with the hashtag. But I think you need also to categorize the hashtag, whether it's real, well, in which direction it will relate it to the quotes, because otherwise it's too broad to understand the meaning. Yeah, but it's a
Okay.
good initiative.
Thank you
Or,
for your suggestion.
Yes. Does anyone still have questions? You can raise up your hand. Or do you feel tired, guys? Yes. Aida, do you have any comments about the paper?
I was really surprised with the Instagram research. I was quite interested. I think I'm going to look to the full paper afterwards to see the details of the methodology. But I really liked it. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
And also,
Okay.
I liked very much your question about the coffee, and I was wondering how we would do it in Brazil, because the Starbucks is not present here. I think there's only on big cities Starbucks. So I was curious to see the difference if you don't have a brand very much known as Starbucks, and how it would affect also.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you then for these three presenters. And before we close the event, the time, and I think my team will overtake this. Yes, Pak Asep, please do.
Okay, thank you, Bu Widi. Hello again, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning for everybody. Everybody can hear my voice all right?
Yes.
Yes, hello.
So now we are in the last photo sessions in this event. I hope everybody still have the energy And I hope everybody has read the instruction on the chat box on the side. So we are hoping you can find the most unrelated item to the conference for your photo props. Like for example, I have here slides. This one
I have that one in my house.
Take some most unrelated items. So we will probably give some time for you to turn on the video and try to find unrelated items for the conference. So you may go wild, anything for this last photo session. But before the photo, I have my colleague, Pak Zuhdi. You have some announcement for the participant, please. Okay, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Asep. As you know, we have some games and interactive activities in our conference. And we have watched you. We don't forget what you have done. Okay, so we will present you the games winner. The first game, games room. We noticed that some of you have back and forth come to the games room, and we have found 3 participants that had higher score. The first winner, for your information, got 100% right. Okay. Yeah, the third winner will get the third and second winner will get dessert official from Arte-Polis8, and the first winner will get another prize, which is 500,000 voucher from our beloved sponsor. The third person who win, Shen Saurmatua. Please shout out if you still here. Okay, if you don't, we move to the second winner, Gabriel Veronica. Are you there, Gabriel? Okay, we move to the first place, Ibu Imelda Akmal. Yeah, Ibu Imelda got 100% right score. Okay, we move to the second category. Okay, crossword winner. Well, you probably know who the winner are. First is Desi Charlianti. Desi, are you there, Desi? Okay. The second one is Mr. Taufik Rahman. Taufik, congratulations. Next category is most engaged participant. We have only one participant that the prize is most engaged. And he or she will get 500K voucher from our sponsor. And the person is Mr. Taufik Rahman.
Thank you very much.
Yes. You're welcome. Thank you. Next category is Instagram most active participant. They will get official Arte-Polis8 t-shirt. Yeah, who is this person taking some Instagram stories? And it is Miss Diani Apsari.
Thank you.
The second one, most Instagram most active participant. Who are you? 3 stories, Instagram stories, and she is Miss Diana Zerlina. Okay, for all the winners, we encourage you to contact our hotlines to grab your prize. Otherwise, it will become mine.
No, you don't.
Thank you. I will return
Okay,
it
thank
to
you.
Mr. Asep.
Okay, thank you, Pak Zuhdi. So we would like to give everybody more time to find the craziest item you can find at the moment. I will let we hear some speech from our most important person in this Arte-Polis event that make all of this happen. Bu Widi, back to you.
Oh, thank you.
Yay!
It is such a pleasure to have you all at Arte-Polis8. I realize that perhaps our event is below your expectation as we run Arte-Polis virtually. However, although we cannot see each other in Bandung, I hope you get essential things at Arte-Polis8. We aim to keep your spirits alive as creative creators, or perhaps initiators, or academicians, or students, or policymakers, or perhaps creative professionals. So wherever you are, you could implement new insights from the last 2 days to generate better placemakings in your city. I do hope to have more happy people and more happy faces and better environment. I wish to see you all in 2022 at Arte-Polis 9 with new findings and new solutions, of course, to share with us together. Last but not least, I would like to thank you to the architecture program of ITB, our dearest keynote speakers, media partners, sponsors who support Arte-Polis8, and of course, my dearest participants. Without you, we are nothing. And also, I would like to thank you to my dearest team, the Arte-Polis Angels. Here we have Nisa. Can you show your feed? Say hi. Nisa, where are you?
So where's the angels?
And then I also have
Hello, I'm
Facia. Yeah, oh, you there you are.
Yay!
And I also have Facia and Marisa.
Hello.
Oh, Facia is cleaning. Okay. And then Marisa
Hello. Thank you everyone for participating.
and Erika. Erika, where are you? And also Anissa. Oh, Erika's still there. Anissa, where are you?
Hello, Ibu.
And my last angel is Angela Upitya. And I also have two guardians, is Asep, Darmana, and Zuhdi Alam. Hi, guys. Yeah, and Zuhdi. Yep. And I also be grateful to Fahmi, Dinda, Delima, Naufal, Ajas, Adelia, Lena, and Fanny. Where are you guys?
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Let's have, yeah. Thank you, Pak Asep.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Widi. So here come our last photo session. I hope everybody is ready with their items. I'll see here Bu Faisa with all the cleaning items, and there's I see water bottles, some ironings and laundry items. Oh, okay. Okay, so we will be taking 3 shots, right? Okay, 3 shots. Okay, first shot, everybody, make sure to show your unrelated items in the camera with you. First shot, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Second shot, 1, 2, 3. Last one. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone.
Until what time do we have our platform today?
Until 12.
No.
Okay, so everybody still can hang around in our platform until midnight Indonesian time, GMT +7.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Have a nice evening time. Have a nice day. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Get well, everybody.
Sudah sayangku. Kita bisa bobo. Oke.